Hello, welcome to today's class. See recursion. Okay, we are going to discuss first what is recursion. So, recursion is a programming technique in which a function calls itself repeatedly until a certain condition is met. This allows the function to solve a problem by breaking it down into smaller or more manageable pieces and solving them one by one. Recursion can be used to solve a wide range of problems, including sorting algorithms, tree traversal, and mathematical calculations. In C programming language, recursion is implemented using the recursive function, the syntax which allow the function to call itself repeatedly is until the desired result is achieved. So as you can see, you just go through the material and answer it. But for today, we're going to discuss the quiz. So if you can check here, the first quiz question is what is this code? What does this code print? Right now, you can see what does that code print. You see, this code from the look of the code, you see that the code you can see that this code has a function. Okay, you can see that it has a function. Okay, and the function prints a recursive function that prints out the integer from 0 to nb. Okay, it print out from the integer from 0 to nb. Okay, it does this by first checking if NB is what? If NB is less than 0. And if NB is less than 0, in which case it returns 0. And if NB is not less than 0, it prints out the current value of NB, then calls itself with a value of minus 1, NB minus 1. It then decrements NB and return it. Then the main function calls the print function, which with a value of 4, so that the first time the printed function is called, the print out. First time the printed function is called, it prints out 4 and call itself with a value of 3. The second time it is called the second time it is called, it prints out 3 and calls itself the value of 2. Okay, the process continue until the base of the n greater than and less than 0 is reached, at which point the value returns 0 and the recursion ends. And then the final answer will now be 0. The answer will now be this 0.00462. So now let's attend to the second one. Say, what does this code print? Okay, what does that code print? Quickly, let me. So now the number two question, one question says, what does this code print? Right? So if you can see here, the code prints the code, the function prints a recursive function that prints 0 to nb, 0 to nb, 0 to nb. And here they said if nb is lesser than 0, then so the print function, which is this print function, this print function, it is a recursive function that prints out the integer from 0 to nb, whatever nb will be, right? And now they were telling us that if nb is lesser than b, right? Sorry, and than 0, if nb is lesser than 0, then it will return what? It will return. Okay, then it will return. Right now, it does this by first checking if nb is less than what? 0. Are you seeing it? Then after that, if NB is not less than 0, it prints out the current value of NB, which is with what we're going to return, will be the current value of NV, right? So now NB rather, then it decrements NB. So what is the decrement? Because of this guy here, it will decrement NB. Okay, so it when it display this digit here, yeah. So that's for decimal, right? So the D is for the other digital decimal. Okay, so that means it's an integer, right? So it will check if it is lesser than MB, then it start to decrement. Okay, it start to decrement, and the value and the value of NB. So after it decrements and calls itself with the same new value that it is decrementing to, or decrementing to, that means what I mean is, and after it decrements to the value of itself with the new value of MB, the main function called the print function with a value of 4. So it will now call the main function with a value of 4. So the first time this print, the function is called, so the first time the print function is called, it prints out 4, right? And also calls itself 3, okay? The second time again, it will print out the second time again, it will print out what? It will print out 3 and will call itself 2, like that, until you get to the lowest end of the value. And so by so doing, our answer is going to be this guy here. Okay, because it's decrementing, right? Remember then, he said, what does this code here, what does this code print out? All this code under here, what does it print out? You can see that the code is still a recursive function, right? This print function is still a recursive function. Okay, so it prints out the integer from 0 to 9, right? Because you see this guy here is lesser than, and because it's lesser than, it will be 0 to 9, it will not be up to 10. Okay, so it will print out 0 to 9. It does this by first printing out the first value of n, then increments it because of this increment value here. Can you see it? Then increment it to print, then increment it by NB and check if it is less than 10. It is, if it's less than 10, if it is less than, if it is, the function calls itself with the new value NB. Then the main value calls the print function with a value of 4. So the first value, then the first time the print function is called, it prints out 4, and also like that when and call itself 5. The second time the print value is the second time it is printed, it calls itself, it call itself 5 and print out the value of 6. So it will continue like that. The process continue until the base of NB is greater than or equals to 10. This reach is greater than 10 is reached, at which point the value return to the recursive end, which is the first output, which the final output will be the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You can see it here, the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't want to make this video to be too long, but I'm just trying to explain. So now what does this, now he said, what does this code print out? Okay, you can see it from here. The printf here is decrementing. Okay, and you can see, what does this code print out? Okay, you can see it first check for from n to 1, right? It check from n to 1. Check it. So you check the recursive function will print out the integer from n to 1. It does this by first printing out the current value of NB. So it will check for the current value of this NB. Yeah. Then after checking that, it will now, and if it is greater than 0, if it's greater than 0, if this is true, the function continue call itself with the value of NB, and the main function, which is this guy here, the main function calls the print function from the value of 4, so that the first time the print function is called, it prints out 4 and calls itself 3. The second time it calls itself, it print out 3 and call itself 2. The process continue until the base function of n lesser than or equals to 0 is reached, at which point the function return and the recursion end. Then the final answer will now become 432, as the function prints the value of n in a descending order, starting with the value of NB and end with the value of 1. Okay, so our answer is going to be this guy here. Then the last guy, which is this question here, it says, what does this print function, what does this print, what does this code print out? Okay, you can see now that this code we print out the recursive, okay, from the recursive function, which is what we have explained before, the recursive function, right? The code we check for the integer from 0 to 1, okay? From NB to 1, okay? From that NB to 1, it does this by printing out all the current value of NB, then decrement it because of this decremental sign, right? Then decrement it and check if it is greater than 0. If it is, the function calls itself with a new value of NB. Then the main function, which is this guy here, the main function, you can see print out what? 2. Are you seeing it? Then the main function print out with a value of 2. So the first time the print function is called, it prints out 2 and called itself with a value of 1. Then the second time itself, it prints out 1 and the base and the base case of NB is now become NB is lesser than or equals to 0. So when it's reached at any point, the function will end. Okay, then the final answer will now become 2 1, as the function prints out the value of NB in decremental order, starting with the initial value and NB ending with 1. So this will be. So let's confirm our question before we submit. Let's check. This is correct. This is correct. This is correct. Make sure you check. This is correct, right? That is number 1. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Everything is correct. So let's submit. Let's see. Boom. You can see that. Okay. I will drop the explanation text inside the chat box so that you can use it for your edification. Thank you. Have a blessed day. Please subscribe and share.